what's the better way to help Bosa? Add a defensive tackle or add an opposing edge guy? And he even
Mm.
brought up the Smith brothers, like where Justin Smith made Alden Smith. So my question to you, Wayne, we talked a little bit about some DTs earlier.
Mhm.
If you could put money on one of these positions, defensive tackle or edge in the free agency, whatever, which one do you think would help Bosa the most?
See, I'm going with the defensive tackle, but it has to be that defensive tackle that can do the two role thing, right? Be able to rush
Yeah.
the passer and be able to stuff the run. And I think if you get that hint, Deron Payne, but if you can, if who's franchise tag, so he's gone. So if you can get a guy like a Jason Hargrave or one of the other defensive tackles that we talked about that is good at both, they have to be really good at both, right? Because that's the key. It would free up pressure on the edge. It'll free up those double teams for Nick Bosa and it allowed Drake Jackson because someone asked about Drake Jackson. I think it was Debster. I really do feel like Drake is going to step up year two. It's year two, guys, and so redshirted freshman year. And now he's gonna come out and do exactly what he was asked to do. Drake Jackson was drafted because he was an athletic freak, and I hate to use the word freak because I don't want it to be derogatory toward anyone, but his arm span, like all of that stuff is something that the 49ers were looking into. And when you remember what Chris Kosirik said, first thing about Drake Jackson was his bend, him being able to bend at that size. And then he has speed to chase down. The one thing that Drake struggled with was containment. And I feel like this is the
Big
year
time.
where he's going to upgrade in that particular area. It's not about him getting his hands up. It's not about him being able to get around and get pressures on the quarterback. That's there. He has the moves. Now it's about watching him find a way to elevate and grow and progress and containment. And I guarantee you, he just needs to be on the field. So I think Drake will start opposite Nick. He replaces Samson Ebukam in that starting role. All right. And so now it's time to kind of like bolster up the defensive edges as far as supplementing and getting some more depth. But you got to go with that stud at defensive tackle because that will allow Eric Armstead to do what he's great at, which is also, containing the edge as well as, run stuffing the middle.
I like that. And, I'll stick with my favorite thing about Drake Jackson is we've seen the splash plays in a positive. Like, right? That's the hard thing. Like, usually with rookies, you're like, man, we're just not seeing highlights. No, Drake Jackson highlights galore, but he's also just negatives. You just got to get to consistent. And
Consistent.
I think that's there. He's so young. He's so talented. My concern level with Drake Jackson is like a 1.5 out of 10. Like, he's going to be a formidable player on this team for the long
Keyword
haul.
formidable, John. I love
Yeah,
it.
it's going to be Peachy. Oh, I love
Peachy
Peachy.
in the
Thank you so much
building.
for the gift, but also your friendship. It was amazing hanging out not once but twice this year on the 49ers
Two
Rush Road Trip.
times.
She's for real, man. She's the best. She says, "Hey, John and Wayne, just showing love to both. Bosa floor starting at 35 million sounds about right.
Ask
Agreed.
me if I care. You pay Bosa whatever he asks for. I don't care if the floor is 35, 36, 40, 45. You just make sure that he gets paid. Nick Bosa is going. Someone mentioned this to me. I think it was on my YouTube. They commented. Hopefully now, after Bosa winning the Defensive Player of the Year award, they'll start putting some respect on his name and start calling mother freaking Holden.
Yep, 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 yep,
So PG, I'm
yep."
with you, baby girl. I don't care what that floor is. You make sure you take care of Nick Bosa. He's gonna break the bank for sure.
Yeah, and he deserves it, and it doesn't matter what it is. The dude should have got MVP votes. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, I think there's 3 quarterbacks and then Nick Bosa. Like, if you were redrafting the NFL and you wiped every single player off the roster, and all 32 teams got to like draft a player, Bosa's going top 5. Maybe top 10 just because there might be like 6 quarterbacks taken in a row. But I'm telling you, Bosa's the first or second non-quarterback taken. You might put Justin Jefferson up there just because of his youth, but Bosa is that. And so on top of it, whatever he gets paid, it's going to lower the salary cap because he's got like a $19 million cap hit currently. When they redo his deal and extend him, 49ers going to lower the cap there.
And just to
Uh,
add to that, like I know people are trying to figure out, well, the 49ers currently don't have any money. They're like at 2.5 million. And so like this is how you you play around with the cap figure, right? You kind of lower that cap, and then it'll give you money back into the cap of this current year, and then you worry about next year. And the cap goes up every year due to the TV contracts and and so forth. So this is great news. We just need to get Bosa done. Now, word on the street is from the sources that we use, they said that it's going to take a while. But at the end of the day, his 5th-year option is going to give him almost damn near $20 million. So he's
Yeah.
going to get his money. Period.
When do they do extensions? The same time
The
every
same
year.
time every year,
Same
guys.
time with
Are we?
Kittle, with
Yeah.
Warner,
So
with
we're in
Debo. It's the
August, right?
same. It's
Yeah.
the same. So,
Is it
like,
August or
don't
July? It's one of the two.
yeah, so it starts the last week of July, then
Thank you.
first week of August. All those contracts have been within a 2.5 week time frame. Do not allow people to say, "Oh, maybe they should trade them." As soon as somebody says that, I don't know. Whatever. I know they're going to do that, but whatever. A draft question. The more I look at Bowling Green's Carl Brooks, he's an edge player, 6'4", 300. I feel like we can use him inside, outside to help Bosa. So here's some of my takeaways on Carl Brooks. And again, he's a second to third round guy. Very similar kind of where he would land as Drake Jackson last year. Could he fall? I hope so. He's going to have to fall a lot further than Drake Jackson. But yeah, I like him a lot. Active hands, always rushing the passer. He could play DT. He could play outside. He does get bounced a little bit in double teams from what I saw. But I like him. I do like him a lot. I doubt he makes it all the way down to 100. But are the 49ers going to trade up?
The 49ers Rush Podcast.